All right, what's up, guys? Good morning. Good morning. Maryland, wow, second half yesterday was fantastic. 54 to 24, just suffocated Iowa after a wild first half where Iowa's like, you would think the shot clock's always running out with Iowa. They're just racing down the court, throwing it up there. Maryland just dominated in the second half. Gillespie, Rice, McGill, Queen, Reed, everybody. Like it was a great game. It was great to see the adjustment in particular for the trap in the second half, just way more aggressive. They switched every pick and roll, and I was just not that big, so that's what you need to do. Just don't give them any room to breathe. Don't let them get the shots up because if they do, you saw what happened in the first half. But main takeaway from the game, was the shot making from Maryland has the is Final Four ability. Like you got to get hot for a couple weekends in a row. Like that's what it comes down to. They certainly have the capabilities to do that. Gillespie was fantastic. Great game, great game. What I want to talk about before I talk about what happened in the All Star game last night is Maryland's in the position now. So the Big Ten has 18 teams as we added Washington, UCLA, Oregon, and whatchamacallit, USC. So there's 18 teams, was 14. They're going to have 15 make the tournament, the Big Ten tournament. The last three teams are just eliminated. And then they're going to have nine teams get a bye. So essentially, that first round is going to be 10 versus 15, 11 versus 14, 12 versus 13. So Maryland's way clear of that. And the magic number is four because the top four get the double bye. So Maryland's right now fifth. It's six teams that can get the top four seeds, and Michigan, Michigan State, Purdue, Wisconsin, Maryland, and UCLA. Maryland already beat UCLA. They already beat Wisconsin, so they're in really good shape as far as that's concerned. They don't play those teams again. They're going to get Michigan State at home, and then they get Michigan on the road. So they're currently a game behind. There's a lot to be a lot of games left. There's 5 games left, but just kind of going over it. 3 out of 5 probably won't get them the 4 seed. 4 out of 5, I would say, would almost be a guarantee. So that's what I'm looking for. Can they win 4 out of the last 5? They get USC on Thursday, then they get Michigan State next week. So pretty nice that they don't have to play it over the weekend. They'll get time to prepare for Michigan State. That's at home. And then they go at Penn State, at Michigan, and then the last game's home against Northwestern. So it's relatively favorable. Feels like a good opportunity. It'd be great to get that top four by kind of pencils them in, probably at a 4 seed at the worst, even if they lost that first game in the tournament. So, all right. I usually, I'm not in favor of just piling on negative stuff. That doesn't seem like a great way to spend your time, but I can't help it with this All-Star game. It was so bad yesterday that I would imagine if anybody has anything positive to say about the All-Star game this morning, they had to be a sponsor getting paid some sort of financial benefit, or they're just I don't understand. It was so bad. It was terrible. The thing that was the worst about it is it felt like a Kevin Hart special. Like the All Star game itself doesn't even really. I'll get to that in a second, but who cares? Like it was just so awkward to have him there and to highlight the TNT guys. Like it just no one cares. Nobody. I mean, what are we doing? What are we doing? It was weird enough to have it called Team Shaq and Team Chuck and Team Kenny. Like, it's just fucking weird. These guys are old. They played basketball forever ago. Why are they the faces of the NBA? It is beyond weird. But anyway, so that's how it starts. They draft these teams. It doesn't make any sense to me, but that's what they want to do. And then they just highlight them all. It turns into like this comedy bit that I felt the same way watching that I did Kendrick Lamar's halftime show, where if you said you enjoyed it, you're just because you think it's the right thing to say. Like you can't possibly have enjoyed that. There's just no way. They're like, what was enjoyable about the halftime show? So people afterwards that said how great it was, it's like, yeah, if you want to talk about something besides entertainment, if you liked, I don't feel like getting into all that, but if you liked it, great. But it could not be because the show was entertaining from a halftime show perspective. Like, there's just no way. Like, no way. I think reasonable people can agree and disagree on entertainment, but I also think there's certain things that are just like you're forcing yourself because you want to be contrarian or I don't know what the hell's wrong with you, but just be honest with yourself. The halftime show sucked. It just is what it is. It wasn't any fun. And the same thing last night. Like, what are we doing? Nothing Kevin Hart says is funny. The thing that's most memorable is the most cringeworthy, where I don't even feel like repeating it because it's just weird. And anyway, but he's talking about Shaq, and it's just the whole thing is cringeworthy, not enjoyable. Then they have a 20-minute break in between the games to do more bits, a farewell to. Holy God, it was awful. And then the game itself was terrible. Like, so you have, this is what I can't understand. They're playing to, what are they playing, to 40, and they have two games. So the first game is like the you get into some rhythm. You basically are playing like a first quarter of basketball. So you're warming up, you're finally getting to some rhythm. Maybe you're playing, getting the adrenaline going, and then the game's over. Like, it was just so, it was really weird. It was not fun at all to watch. Wemby was fun to watch. He seemed like he was actually playing. He like stopped 4 or 5 people from dunking the ball just by kind of like lurking them. It's really funny watching him play like on the court with all the extra all stars. Like, he is. I think he's going to go down as the best basketball player I've ever seen because he wants to be great and he is amazing. But anyway, guys can't really get warmed up. Then you got the rising stars participating. Then the championship game is just awkward. Like, if you wanted to have it maybe a lower score for the first two games and then have a real game at the end, there's nothing they could have done to make it good. And then the worst part about the whole thing is because I watched a lot of the coverage of it. I was really intrigued. I wanted to see what this would be like. The NBA has the worst messaging out of any company. I can't think of another company that has the worst messaging in the world. Like, they constantly, the brand ambassadors, the people they put as the faces of the NBA, Shaq and Chuck, during their show, their whole bit is that we don't watch the games. We don't know the names of the players. The NBA is boring. And it's like, I can't imagine that that's great for marketing, but it's them, the show's successful. But they doubled down on it yesterday by having Draymond up there saying that the NBA is boring, it's predictable, it's not fun. Meanwhile, he's playing in the NBA currently. But then he goes as far as to say yesterday, like 4 or 5 different times, that the rising stars, the fourth team that was participating, didn't deserve to be there. It's embarrassing that they're there. And I'm like, we're all supposed to watch this in like an hour? Like, here comes the game and this is how you're selling it to us. It's really weird. The NBA has gone so downhill. I was so disappointed. I watched the 2000 NBA All-Star game, the first one, I think, since Jordan, or I don't know why. Bill Walton was announcing the game. It was fun. I enjoyed. The guys didn't play amazing, but holy shit, the NBA has gone way downhill. I was like super excited about the NBA. I don't know, ever since I can remember. I was just always watch the NBA, love the NBA. The players are great. Even the level of play this year has, it's been a little bit more dynamic on offense. The skill is through the roof, but they're hard to like. They really are. The selfishness, the not willing to try your hardest, just a lot of these guys are super hard to like, and that really takes away from it. And then the NBA is hard to like itself. Like, management, Adam Silver, you run a company where you let everybody get away with things. If you're the teacher and you let all the kids run amok, you kind of get what you deserve. He really doesn't belong. He probably belongs being the chief lawyer, chief negotiator, second in command like he was under Stern. But the lack of discipline, the lack of, always doing whatever they want to do. It's like, hey, if they're not going to play hard, if that's the issue, you just do East versus West, and you make it count for stuff in the regular season, or you just get rid of the stupid All-Star game and do a tribute to kids or highlight high school All-Stars. Do something. God, not a Kevin Hart special. But anyway, I had to get that off my chest so I don't bother all my friends today and call them and complain about the All-Star game, because that was just absolutely ridiculous. Orioles stuff coming this week. Tomorrow I'm going to chat with J Mart, preview here the second half of the NBA season, get the bets rolling, and I'm going to couple things getting finalized here. So stay tuned. Appreciate you guys. Enjoy the off day. I'm assuming most of you are off. If not, sorry, but if you're off, enjoy the day. Have a good one. See you guys in the morning.